Now, I do not intend to make this sound like a fancy promise, but what I'm saying right now, I'm very serious with that. And that is, if you understand what I'm going to reveal to you in this video, the formula, the simple formula, and we're also going to talk about the topic of mental diet. If you're able to understand this and apply this, you can change your life within like 180 degrees. You can fully transform your life. You can really change your reality fully, not just slightly, not just adjusting the surfaces and make it a little bit better, but you're still not fully satisfied. No, you can make it in a way that you really love your life, that you really have changed and transformed your life. So I'm going to reveal this in this video. And this is what Neville said, right? So he said, I did it. I did imagine. I did put myself in the wish fulfilled. I did, stay true to my vision. I am doing it, and I will continue to do it. I will continue to shift and place myself in the wish fulfilled until that which I have done is perfectly, not just slightly, not just a little bit where we accept something that's not the end yet. No, it is fully externalized within my world. So let us just discuss this right now. The formula that I'm about to share with you in this video is so simple, but it is not complicated. And it's indeed so simple that most people will overcomplicate it and think they need to add things into this formula and think they first need to meet dozens of requirements to be able to start, and they will not stick with it. So first of all, most people will not even watch this video fully because they will think, I know this all and this is all familiar to me, yet they still don't apply it. So most people won't even watch this video, and then most people won't even stick to this simple formula. So if you're serious about a transformation in your life, if you right now have desires or one desire and you want to change something in your life, but not just slightly, but you actually really want to transform something long lasting, not just for 2 days, feeling a little bit better, but seeing new results, then please stick with me and please apply this formula. Because I want you to change. I want to see comments and success stories and people messaging me, hey, Nicholas, I achieved this, my life has changed. And I'm a testimony of this myself. My reality has also transformed completely. If I look in my life right now, what I've manifested, the person I've become, the things that I was able to also push out, so to speak, by consciously applying those principles, is like night and day difference to who I was, let's just say, 2 years ago, just to make a big contrast. But a lot of things have changed. So I want you to do the same. You can change your life. You don't have to stay in the same patterns, the same cycles, the same repetitions. Sometimes we fall into them. The more self-awareness we have, the better we are to get out of that. But with this formula, you can change your life. So, like Neville also said, right? People simply have this habit. It is so within all of ourselves, is that we are slightening the importance of simple things. We always think it needs something fancy. We always chase the next shiny object. We always think there's so much requirements that we need to meet. But I tell you, you can start with that formula today. No matter how much you've learned about manifesting, no matter how far you've come on your journey, no matter if you've been in this journey for 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years, but you have a desire right now, you can apply this today. And it is simple, but therefore don't push it aside and think, I do this later. It's so simple. I can do this all the time. No, it is so simple, but that sometimes makes it so difficult to stick with it. That sometimes makes it so difficult to trust it because we think, can it be that simple? Shouldn't it be more complicated? Because our rational mind thinks that way. And you've probably noticed that in the realm of manifestation teachings, in the realm of the law of assumption, the law of attraction, and spirituality and mindset, you will find all sorts of shiny methods and all sorts of promises. Right? You will find everything. Do this method. And then it's the magic knot technique from Neville, right? Which isn't really even a technique, but this popped up on some creators' channels because it's like a new shiny object, right? Something new came up and then everybody jumped on it. Everybody started to make videos on this. Oh, now it's the knot technique. And everybody in the community was like, even in my community, people posted it and they were like, oh, what about the knot technique? And I was like, guys, of course it's another technique. Of course it works. But I'm like, don't be shiny object syndrome addicted, right? If you fall for the shiny object syndrome, you'll always delay appropriating your desired states. You will always delay shifting. You will always delay applying the basics because you always think there is something more, something you miss, something you have not learned yet, right? So be aware of that. And also, there is one approach, one main approach, that if you apply it correctly, and if you persist in it, if you stay with it, you can radically transform your life. You can radically shift your reality. You can completely change your life. You can change yourself so much that when you would meet a friend that you haven't seen for a while, that you would say, wow, like, instance, I can't recognize you. Wow, like, tell me, like, what has happened? That works. It has also happened to me where I met a friend who was in like the high school years with me in school, and I haven't seen her for maybe there was like a 1 to 1.5 year gap since we've like met. And it was this time where I like came into those teachings. I started to apply. We met, and she could notice things about me, my energy, right? My state, my aura, my being level, external manifestations that I had present. And she was like, wow, like, what are you doing? Like, can you recommend me a book? What happened to you? So again, this stuff works. And I want us right now to dive into this formula. And I broke it down into some steps that you need to follow, okay? So the first step is that you need a goal in life. Very simple, right? You need a goal. You need to know what is your goal. What is your desire right now? Because everything starts with a desire. Every transformation, every shift, every external new accomplishment was first a desire. Every new version of yourself that you express, you first desire to be it, and then you identified with it, you shifted it, and then it was externalized. But like Neville said, all transformation in life begins with an intense, burning desire. So the more intense your desire is, the better. If you just say, yeah, that would be nice to have this new car, it would be nice, but I'm actually fine without it. I'm actually very good without it. I don't really desire it. That's not a real desire. The likelihood for you to manifest the car with that low of a desire will not be high. The higher the desire, the more you really want it, the better it is. Because the more you will be able to devote yourself to the state of the wish fulfilled, and instead just saying, yeah, I'm also good without it actually. So everything begins with this burning desire to be transformed. The first step in renewing the mind is desire. You must want to be different before you can begin to change, before you can begin to shift within yourself, before you can begin to move within awareness and anchor yourself in that state of the wish fulfilled. You first of all must actually want to be on this new level. If you're right now satisfied with how things are, then that's amazing. That's perfect. Then you can still watch this video and learn what you can do if you reach a point where you get a desire. But if you are watching this right now, what is your biggest desire now? Don't even start small, right? Of course, we can do these tests and the ladder exercise and manifest the rose and tennis balls and things to prove this principle. But now we're talking about a burning desire you have. We're not testing it. We're now applying it for your goal. How do you want to be transformed? What do you want to have present in your life? That's the first step. Get clarity on that. The genie comes to your bed. This fun example, right? This fun experiment. The genie comes to your bed and asks you, hey, what do you want to? Which life do you want to wake up? What do you really desire? And then you kind of would not say, yeah, I would maybe have like $100 more per month. No, you would maybe say, if that's your desire, you would say, I want to be financially in the position where I would not have to work for someone and I feel free. Where I can invest, I can do things, I feel financially free. I don't have financially worries for my level of lifestyle. Maybe that's your desire. So know what you want. But that's the first step. Without a goal, you will not move. Without a desire, you will more like drift and have slow progress. So go within and see what are your desires. And if you have some present, then it's now time for step 2, which is, if you would have your desire manifested in your life, if it would be an external fact, an external circumstance, who would you be? In which state would you be? What label would other people give you? If you're healthy, if you desire health and you are in a state of health, others would say, hey, you are the healthy person. You're always the happy person. You're always the confident person. You're the person who never struggles with money. You're the person who is in such a loving relationship. Right? That question can really help you to go within and make it about you, who you then would be. So you hear it already in my explanation. This is less about the specifics right now, but of course, don't get me wrong, you can use the same formula that I'm about to share also for specific things, but I'm just helping you to go like to the core. Okay? So this works for general and specific things. Here, I'm talking a little bit more general, right? So to make it about your self-concept, your inner state, and to understand that this is what no one can take away from you. The outside world always changes and things come and go in a sense. But if you understand that, you understand that no one can take this away from you, you will feel very invincible. You will feel very free and powerful. So back to the question, if your desire is manifested, who are you then? So of course, when I manifested the car and other things, the apartment and the specific person, and I did that also, I just rarely talk about this because I don't want to be portrayed as like a specific person channel. But the things that I manifested that were specific, like specific items, specific objects, specific experiences, specific vacations, specific things, I did not ask myself this question. But most of the time I do ask myself this question because, again, it makes it about your self-concept and your state. So it is very helpful. Who are you? Who would you be? How would others describe you? In which state, in which quality of being are you when your desire is manifested? So nowadays, I do ask myself this question more. So this question helps you to turn within and get clarity about the state you want to be in. Not so much what you want, but more so who you want to be. And it is important to not be or to not stay attached to something on the outside, because you will notice that all states are within you. To give you an example, a person desires $5,000, they manifest it, but then they get a huge bill of like $2,000, and then they only have like $3,000 left. So what now? It's not so much about that specific money. It's more about who are you when you have more than enough money to always pay your bills, to always, have the experiences that you want to have. Then you are the financially set, the financially well-versed, the financially abundant, the financially stable person. That is then a general state you're in. So who are you when you have your desire manifested? Extremely helpful question to get away from the outside and the symbolism and the external experiences, but more who are you then? Very, very powerful. Next step is what would imply to you subjectively, to you watching this video right now, not your best friend, not me, not Neville, not someone else in the community, to you that you are in the desire state. Right? What would imply that? What would imply that your desire is now present in your life? Which experience would you make? Which sentence would be dropped from a friend, from a family member? What would you say to yourself? What would happen on the outside? Who would congratulate you? What would change? What would be there that right now in the desiring state isn't there? What would be different in your day-to-day life? What would you do that right now you don't do? Who would congratulate you? What would you experience that implies that your desired state is now expressed in your life? Right? That's the main question. Your imaginative experience should imply the end for you. Right? Because in a further step, we will say, and we will talk about that now that you have this experience that you would make, that we can then imaginatively already experience it. We can already listen to that friend congratulate to us. We can already have this inner conversation from the premise of the wish fulfilled. We could already have that family member give us a hug and say, I'm super proud of you. That is also a scene that I had at some point. Right? So again, what do you want? What's the state you would be in? What would imply you're now in that state? And if it is something specific you want, what would imply that this thing is now present in your circumstances? Right? What would imply that? What experience would you make? You first ask yourself, what experience would you make if that thing would be in your life? And then we make that experience in the next step in the here and now within ourselves. Right? So, because now the next step, and that is a crucial step, is fully satisfying your hunger. How do we do that? We satisfy our hunger for the desire by having, in a sense, spiritual food. What is the spiritual food? The spiritual food is the experience of the wish fulfilled. Right? So repeat this step if the desire comes up. You have to repeat step 4. When a desire comes up again, you then need to again satisfy your hunger for it. Otherwise, you will just, keep staying hungry. You will keep staying in the desiring, seemingly lacking state. So you must know and define your objective. Step 1. And condense it into a sensation, into an experience which implies fulfillment. When your desire is clearly defined, so you clearly know what you want, immobilize your physical body. This is simply because you're then more relaxed. You can also imagine while you do day-to-day activities, of course, you can apply that dynamically. But best is when you start with that and you really want to go all in. When your desire is defined, you calm the mind, you calm the body by sitting down and, laying back. and you experience in your imagination the action which implies fulfillment. Repeat this act over and over again, right? Lose yourself in it. Bathe yourself in it. Forget yourself in it. Experience it till you reach a point where you're why am I still hearing my friend congratulate me? It is already so. I heard him say it. It is done. It is true. Where you really get the sense that this just happened. It's a very good indication. I know of no clearer definition of the means by which we realize our desires than to experience in ourselves, in our inner world, within our awareness, in our imagination, what we would experience in the flesh if our goal would be manifested. Listen to that, please, one more time. Right? Neville said he also knows of no clearer guide, no clearer formula, no clear definition that we can use to manifest our goals than to experience in ourselves, in the silence, within ourselves, something that we would experience externally if our goal would be manifested. Right? That is step number 4. That this scene, this act, this imaginative experience that we found out here in step 3, that we then experience it, that we then actually do the work. That is where most people stop. They learn, but they never take the time out of the day, sit down, and just have this imaginative experience, which you will see. This brings you joy, this brings you relief, this brings you this satisfaction. So what's step number 5? And that's very, very important and oftentimes overlooked, is continue to observe your reactions, because they will show you if you have shifted within. Continue to observe how strongly you still desire it, because the more you still continue to desire it, the more it means that you're not really satisfied. The more you continue to react to your current circumstances, the more it means you're not in the wish fulfilled. Because in the wish fulfilled, you can't react to something opposite. In the wish fulfilled, you have it. It's done. Right? So continue to observe your reactions to life. They will show you if you've moved within. And a reminder is this: the external world will still be the same, first of all. Right? So first, let's just say you're dissatisfied with your money circumstance, with your income, with your financial circumstance. You know what you want, right? You say, okay, I want to have this certain, money per month as income. I want to be financially free. I want to have more than enough finances. I want to be not worried about money. You have a scene that would imply that. What would imply that you are in that state? You have a scene for that. You would maybe imagine how you pay somewhere, entering your PIN code for your card, but you would not care how much it is. You would just enter the code, kind of like even looking away and being like, yeah, whatever it costs, I don't care. Boom, that could put you in that state, right? And then you imagine it, you soak it in, you dwell in it, you experience it again and again and again, and then at some point you come out of it, your circumstances are still the same. They are reverberant. They are a delayed mirror. So it's okay if you still for a while perceive the old. It's not a problem. You didn't do anything wrong. The outer man follows the inner man. You have placed yourself within here. The outer man is slower. This world is slower. Imagination, we can immediately be in the wish fulfilled. The external world can take a while to move us automatically through this bridge until we end up where we first have been within. Right? You place the inner man into the end. The outer man simply follows. So remember, the manifestation is the consequence of the wish fulfilled. Right? The manifestation, you seeing new external circumstances, is the consequence, the echo, the result of the wish fulfilled, of you having experienced that desired state in yourself. Right? And this is the only mental diet which actually works, which works most potent and which actually works. Right? You don't get things by thinking. You don't get new things by just slightly readjusting the surfaces. You get things if you move inside consciousness, if you move into a new state of being, into a new state of consciousness. Right? And you're not stopping there. You do it once, and like Neville said, I did it. Now we come back to the quote of the beginning. You did it. So you did that approach. You're doing it, and you will continue to do it until that which you have done, until that desire, until that shift is perfectly externalized in your world. Right? So this mental diet means that you keep eating the food you want to eat. You keep, and if you notice you reacted, if you notice you've fallen out of your state, if you notice you're back in the desiring again, then your duty, so to speak, is to step into the mental diet again and to again eat the spiritual food, soak in the experience of the wish fulfilled, imagine your end scene again, anchor yourself in the wish fulfilled till you're satisfied again. Boom. Pause of the mental diet, continuing with your life. But you do that as long as you desire, as long as you want it, as long as you stay triggered, you come back to that end state till it is perfectly externalized in your world, without accepting anything prior to that as final, without accepting anything as it are right now and being okay, yeah, that is how it is. I now just have to live with it. Life doesn't mean it. Life doesn't want it for me. That's not supposed to be true for me. Yeah, God doesn't want me to experience that, so okay, I can't have this. But again, you don't want to die in your sins, and that means you don't want to, die with alive desires. You are here to express desires. You're here to express yourself, right? Life happens through you, not to you. Life comes from within. So within, maneuver, within align to who you want to be. If there is something that excites you, that empowers you, something that you always wanted, that desire, you can manifest it. It exists. Otherwise, you couldn't desire for that state, right? So that's the formula. Those are the 5 steps. This is the mental diet that you need to continue to do so that eventually you force, you force reality in its knees, so to speak. It has to obey to you. It's not against you. It sometimes just needs time. Don't be swayed away when there's a seemingly opposite or something not changing yet. You can go back into the wish fulfilled. Eventually, the circumstances have to change. They are only a mirror. If within you dwell in the wish fulfilled, you will no longer even need the external proof. You are it already. And if you fall out of it, be it again, shift into it again. And eventually life has to mirror it back. If you need help with that, if you want to get accountability on that journey, be surrounded by hundreds of people who follow that, who did that already, who manifested every desire you can right now have thinking about, if it's cars, houses, apartments, relationships, SPs, health, money, business success. I know this sounds like pretty much overpromising, but I tell you, I can speak from my own experience. And I know that so many people in my community have achieved that because we have a system. This is not just a randomly generated dump of videos that are already on YouTube like other creators do. This is a program that I have since years, that hundreds of people have gone through, that has produced results if you stick with it. And I invite you to join us today because we're like an amazing community that has been proven. And it's also a very empowering place where you can find friends. People have met in there. People have little groups within the community. People become friends in there, right? So if you want to join us, get access to me, hang out with us, I invite you to join us. Those are the 5 steps to change your life in 180 degrees, to be able to really do a shift. If you follow this formula, you come back to this one scene that implies it's done. You don't need 10 scenes. You don't need long scenes. One scene, 3 to 5 seconds. You know what it implies. And you experience to now have the relief. Not to get something in the future. There is no future. There's only the now. You're now through your imagination, through spiritual sensation, you sense that your desire is done. That's it. Boom. That's it. Nothing, no finger to lift, so to speak. But then because you are within here, on the outside you're here, within you're here, that inner you will, in a sense, drag you towards it. It will drag you through that bridge. It will make you move automatically so that you end up where you first have positioned yourself with him. That is the law. I look forward to welcoming you inside of our community. Second link in the video description, and I speak to you soon. Bye, guys.